I guess somebody wise came in my life, and that wise gentleman told me that do something which you are best into.
You know, you had such a long and successful stint at the Big Fours, right? Especially PwC and EYGDS, and setting up Pierag Consulting was such a bold move. What gave you that conviction to take that leap?
These two elements of conviction got layered up with the confidence of my leadership team, who helped me in setting up and building up my set of practice in EY.
Can you tell us a little about your early hustles? Maybe how did the first big win feel like?
We paid 40,000 rupees for that database, big amount at that time. We got 25,000 emails. Out of 7, 3 of them said that, okay, we want to kind of talk. And out of 3, none of them got converted.
But Abhishek, how does it feel from starting during peak of COVID with no clients, with maybe just a handful of employees, to today having a firm with numerous clients, both in domestic market as well as across the globe, and having more than 300 employees?
Whosoever has joined us in this journey has joined with a purpose that they want to do something for themselves.
What advice would you give to any young entrepreneur or young professional who is looking to build a business into such niche spaces like consulting and offshoring?
Last but not the least is one has to be honest to the clients. One has to be honest to the people in terms of what and how they're doing it.
Hi, and welcome to Pierag Cast, a podcast series by Pierag Consulting, where we decode market insights into global assurance, accounting, business, and tech risk. We will also explore the evolving world of GCCs and get a glimpse into stories from leaders who are into the consulting world. I am Priya Sahai. I lead the financial due diligence practice and look after client experience at Pierag Consulting. Today, we are kicking off this series with a very special guest, Abhishek Gupta, founder and managing partner at Pierag Consulting and a founding partner at Baker Tilly US India joint venture. A GCC expert with over 22 years of work experience in leading firms like EY, PwC, and Temasek, he has rich experience in offshoring and consulting industry. Abhishek has played a pivotal role in shaping the consulting industry and has built a legacy in the offshoring world. Now let us rewind the clock and hear the journey that led us to Pierag. Welcome, Abhishek.
Thank you, Priya.
So, Abhishek, let's start right from where it all began. Can you tell us a little bit about your early career, about your life journey, maybe your experience and how you gained your expertise in the global delivery services?
Well, great. Thanks for having me over here, Priya. Your one question takes me back into my last 23, 24 years of my career. I think it's a journey which I always look up to. Lot to kind of learn from that journey for myself. I want to kind of divide that into 3 different aspects. One, obviously, when I was doing and cleared my chartered accountancy, my early part of the career, and how I gained that expertise in the GCC world. So initially, yes, I also aspired to become a chartered accountant. Not that I was a very bright student. I was a very average student. And as an average student, it took me a couple of times to kind of clear my chartered accountancy. And but right after qualification of CA, I got an opportunity to work with PwC, and at that time it was a big thing to kind of get an admission into one of the big fours to kind of start your career. And I started in the audit world, got a fairly large clients to kind of work upon and lead those clients from the front. A strong experience, got to kind of learn a lot. Those were the days when I used to work almost 3 days in a row, not going back home, and so on. And after a while, 4 or 5 years down the line, there is always a urge to kind of look into the different part of the world, and it happened with me at that time as well. And I thought that I want to kind of come out of consulting and I want to kind of try industry. And with that mindset, I got into an organization called Temasek, which is a private equity based out of Singapore, and joined them as a financial controller in one of their financial investment arms called Fullerton. Great exposure. Spent about 2 years with them. Got to kind of see the entire financial gamut, right from accounting to taxation to treasury and financial management, and fairly strong experience what I was kind of able to build over there. Then was a time again when my consulting spree come back into me and said that you are going to be a better consultant. So I think with that mindset, again I was kind of looking out for a couple of different options, and that was a time when India as a country was really evolving in a GCC space in the financial world. India as a market has always been strong in the IT world, started in the early 90s. And when it comes to the early 2010s and 2011s, that was a time when the shift was getting transitioned towards the financial world. And that was a time when EY was also setting up their assurance and advisory services. So offshore market, I got a chance to kind of work with them. And initially, I got a chance to kind of help in setting up the business for the US market, and started with a formidable team with a very small team of about 30 odd people. Grew that practice to almost 1,600 people. I spent about 10 years with the firm. During those 10 years, I got a chance to kind of work across different facets, work with the global leadership, helped them in setting up the accounting advisory practice, helped in setting up the growth strategy markets for them from India, and got, got a chance to play a very instrumental role in setting up the private client services as well. So last 5 years of my 10 years tenure with EY, I think that those were the most promising years for me from a learning standpoint. I got to kind of learn so many things. I got to kind of work with the global leadership, and within those years, that urge for doing something different keep on evolving every year. And then, though I was kind of doing different solutions, I was doing different things, but that that solution orientation, that urge was getting more deeper and deeper into me. And that was a time when I thought that why don't I kind of really explore something new for myself. And uh, with that mindset, and the entire ecosystem in and around me, where the ecosystem was more towards startups, a lot of founders were coming into play, a lot of innovation, a lot of thought ideation was happening. And I was also kind of thinking that why shouldn't I kind of try into this world. And with that mindset, I thought of about a few ideas as vague and as wide as opening up a restaurant, getting into cab business, opening up a salon, and so on. But I guess somebody wise came in my life, and that wise gentleman told me that do something which you are best into, correct? And if you think that offshore market is one of the best markets and you understand this market, why don't you kind of try that sell for your when you're thinking about something new. And then I started deep diving into it, and I realized that this market is huge and there is so much potential in this market. And still, it is absolutely unexplored. Still, there are a lot many clients, lot many organizations in the world who are looking for the right advisors, who are looking for the right partners to kind of help them in setting up their shared services, GCCs, and whatnot. And I think with my experience, which I built up in EY, of setting up this entire practice, which was one of the largest practice in the country, I thought that this is the right expertise for me to kind of take it out in the market and help the tier one and a tier two organizations who are still evolving and who cannot kind of really think of setting up their own captive centers. So why don't we kind of set up a kind of an organization which is going to help these companies out? So with that mindset, I thought of kind of jumping and setting this up. Got to kind of shake hands with Pyrin Services, which is a Bangalore-based entity, and together we kind of started this venture, which is now called as Pierag Consulting. And fast forward 4 years, I think it's again a kind of a journey to look back. Phenomenal support from our clients, phenomenal team which we have been able to kind of build in the last 4 years. And today, if I look back from 24 years or 25 years back, from a student who was struggling student to even qualify his chartered accountancy, to kind of see different facets of the things. So I think it's really kind of it's really brings a lot of motivation and excitement for me in terms of what I lived. So
Wow, thanks, Abhishek. And thank you also for sharing with our listeners about how you cleared your CAs in maybe multiple attempts. But from that day to, it clearly shows your determination and grit into creating this place, Pierag Consulting, where it is today. But Abhishek, you had such a long and successful stint at the big fours, right? Especially PwC and EYGDS. And then leaving all that and setting up Pierag Consulting was such a bold move. What gave you that conviction to take that leap?
Oh, I know that this question keeps on coming back to me time and again, but I think there have been few things. But before I kind of share that, at times what happened is that you keep on thinking you want to kind of do something, but you don't get that courage to kind of really get into that. And it was a similar story for me as well. I was thinking to kind of do something for last 2 years, like the way I said, I was kind of thinking about multiple ideas, multiple different ventures. But there was a time when I could not kind of really hold up, not to kind of really try and jump into it. But in my case also, I thought that I'll kind of start something new and I will do something new. But it was always a pushback that yes, who's going to take that risk? Why you want to kind of leave your good paying job, and why you want to kind of try something which is unique, which nobody has done it, and why you want to kind of take that kind of a risk? So but it also kind of reminds me of an interesting example. It's a live example of my life. Wherein in my early days, my parents put me through the swimming classes, and I used to go to the swimming pool every day. And for 4 days, I used to go in a 3 feet deep pool, and I was a kind of a fairly tall guy at that time. At 3 feet pool, and I used to kind of just go sit in the pool, come back. On the fifth day, I was kind of sitting at the edge of the pool, and suddenly, from nowhere, I don't know, my coach came from behind and he just pushed me in 12 feet. And he knew I don't know swimming. I knew I don't know swimming. And without realizing, I don't know how I came out of that water. And I think this is exactly what happened in my case as well. And you won't believe, but that I can say that it happens in majority of the cases, the people who have actually started something. At, till the time you keep on evaluating, it happens, it might not happen, but the time when you really are being forced to kind of get into, that's the time when it can happen for you. So I think that's happened for me as well. In terms of conviction, there were two parts of conviction to me got associated with me. The first was in terms of my own expertise, my own knowledge about the GCC, and I considering that the book which I was able to kind of establish and the book which I was able to kind of run gave me enough conviction that yes, at least I can kind of bring the right expertise in front of the clients. The second is the conviction about the market, that the market is still kind of evolving, the market still doesn't have a lot many opportunities, and in case if somebody can bring that kind of an expertise in front of them, then definitely it can be something which can be picked up by a lot many users in the market. And these two elements of conviction got layered up with the confidence of my leadership team, who helped me in setting up and building up my set of practice in EY, to kind of believe into me and say that Abhishek, we are there with you. Why don't we kind of build it together? So I think that's how I kind of got that kind of a confidence from the team who came along and who helped me in setting this up. And it's a combination of conviction plus confidence which has helped us to be where we are today.
Yeah. Thanks, Abhishek. I think one of the key takeaways from your answer is that I think you married your risk taking spirit with your core specialties, your core expertise, and backed it with deep market research. And then you started Pyrag.
Yes.
Now, Abhishek, an interesting question which our listeners want to hear. Okay. Can you tell us a little about your early hustles? Maybe how did the first big win feel like, the first big project that you got, or how you acquired the first customer, first client?
Oh wow, you are taking me back into memories. The memories which still gives me those kind of a goosebumps, because It's been a very interesting story because when we started, we actually launched the business on February 25, 2021, right in the midst of COVID. And we launched the business. We said we did a kind of a small launch event, and right after the event, I got a call from one of my colleague who joined me that he is COVID positive, and right within 10 days of the launch of the business, we have to kind of shut down the office, and that office was being shut down for almost 2.5 months, because if you remember, that was a time when India has actually faced the toughest wave of COVID. And when we actually started, we to be honest, we didn't had any pipeline of business. We didn't had any kind of any referrals at that point of time, so we just kind of get into it without having anything. And one of the things which since you said that I've done a lot of research, I did actually some of the research in the marketing piece as well. And this was being taught to me that or at least I've learned this, that when you are in a marketing business, and if you approach 100 customers or 100 clients, you will get a response from 10, and out of 10, 6 or 7 of them might show an interest, and eventually a couple of them might get converted. So 2 to 3% is the success rate which is being shared with me by a lot of wise people in the market. And with that mindset, we thought that 2% is a great conversion rate. And we took a database of the CPA firms in the US market, and we said that, okay, if we are going to send the emails and the communication channel, we set up a communication channel with them with a 2% success rate, it'll be great. So we purchased a database. I still remember we paid 40,000 rupees for that database, big amount at that time. We got 25,000 emails, and we applied the same 2% on 25,000, and we said that, wow, we can get 500 clients within no time. And we sent those emails, and to our surprise, we got a response from 6 or 7 out of 27 or 25,000. And out of 7, 3 of them said that, okay, we want to kind of talk. And out of 3, none of them got converted. So
0 out of 25,000.
0 out of 25,000. So we didn't get a single break from those 25,000 emails. So first hustle, we got our office to be shut down within 10 days of launch, and the rent outflow was there. And you can imagine that when you don't have enough capital behind you and your rent is flowing in, so that was the first. Second, of course, our first marketing idea failed miserably, right? And there was not a rescue plan coming out of there. The third, which was another interesting piece, which was, again, when we said that, okay, this is not working out, again, we kind of started knocking into our the research. And somebody said that, why don't you guys kind of register into these freelancing websites? And you won't believe that we got ourselves registered in a website called Upwork. And no offenses to any channel over here or any website over here, but we thought we'll kind of get some work from there. We'll kind of do some $10-15 an hour job. And again, I think the destiny was something different, and we didn't get any single query from there. 3.5 months from launch, nothing was working out. And suddenly one fine day, I got a call from one of my ex-colleagues from EY who knew that we have started something, and he said that, hey, you guys can kind of help us out in something which is on risk advisory. And I said that, risk advisory, I've never done risk advisory in my past, and how do you think that we can do it? And he said that it is your problem. I can give you an opportunity if you can do it. I finally talked to my colleague, and he said that, Abhishek, let's do it. And it's like the same story when you get a first customer in your shop, you don't want to kind of say no, and it exactly happened with us as well. So we eventually delivered that work, and we said yes to it. The work got delivered. No, the client loved it. The client loved it. I don't know why they loved it, but they loved it to an extent that they said that, okay, great, you guys have done fantastic in business risk. Can you also do something on the technology risk? And that was a kind of a big challenge, because We didn't knew anything on the technology risk, and that's the time when we kind of gone out in the market, got somebody from the board, and that gentleman did a phenomenal job. Again, the client was happy, and that's how we kind of our first dollar came into our books, and what we thought that we will be an assurance heavy organization, we started as an advisory organization, and suddenly we have to kind of rethink about our entire game plan. We need to kind of restructure our strategy in the market in terms of how we need to kind of position ourselves, how we need to kind of build that expertise of advisory. But slowly and gradually moving forward, August of 21, we kind of got our first audit breakthrough as well. And then from there on, I don't think so that we ever got a chance to kind of look back, and we've just moved forward and kind of expanded both horizontally and vertically across spheres. So absolutely, it's a moment which, as I'm saying, brings goosebumps. But on the other side, it's something which we are extremely proud of, because with such an humble beginning, I think we are thankful to our clients. We are thankful to our believers who actually believed into us and who kind of put their first bets on us. So yeah.
Wow, Abhishek, what a fantastic journey. But Abhishek, how does it feel from starting during peak of COVID with no clients, with maybe just a handful of employees, to today having a firm with numerous clients, both in domestic market as well as across the globe, and having more than 300 employees? So how does it feel today?
I think the feeling is incredible. I would be lying if I say that, you know what, I'm still absorbing it. But it's a great feeling when you go out in the market and people look up to you, and you can be one of the person who can kind of share your stories. I think it's absolutely astonishing for us. So it's not only for me. I think anybody and everybody who has been part of this journey right from day one, I think it's a similar feeling which everyone carries on their badge in our organization. And it's mutual because whosoever has joined us in this journey has joined with a purpose that they want to kind of do something for themselves. And I think I might be drifting a little bit from your question, but I'll kind of share an interesting thing with you that when I started this, I thought that why I'm doing what I'm doing. So what is my purpose? And the purpose was something which was our foundation. And when I was setting up my purpose, the first thing which came to me as a purpose statement was inspiring people to do things what inspires them, which means motivating people to do things what motivates them. And with that mindset, we said that we want to kind of create an ecosystem and an organization where people can come and they can do what is something which is going to kind of bring happiness to them. Uh, and with that mindset, we started this, and slowly and gradually people started resonating, and they figured out a platform that this is a place where they can really hone their skills, and they can kind of really bring out their talent to kind of showcase that they are not meant to kind of just do a smaller piece. They can do something bigger. And we normally call it in a very simpler format that why you want to kind of restrict yourself to kind of build a wall when you can kind of build a cathedral. So it's all up to you how you want to kind of really structure out yourself. And I think each and every team member who has joined us in the journey, in this journey of last 4 years, has been instrumental of living our purpose on a day-to-day basis, and they are inspiring everyone on the floor. And that's the inspiration, and that's the motivation which they takes it back to our clients. And when you are an inspired workforce, that and you demonstrates that inspiration in front of your clients, that's the time when the clients get the right quality and the right value in terms of the output. And that's something which is working out for everyone, be it our people, be it our clients, and be it our overall journey. So
What a wonderful thought, Abhishek, that we should not let our experiences restrict us, and we should find our purpose and have that will to succeed. So, Abhishek, when you look back, like now we have just completed 4 years of Pierag. So, when you look back, what do you think were some of the turning moments into building Pierag?
wow, there were two. One of them I will not say it as a turning point. The first one I would say that it's something which has actually given us a road to move on, or a path to move on. And that was our first client, which I was kind of discussing, the risk advisory one, which has actually believed into us and said that, okay, yes, you guys can, if you guys want to do it, we are there to support you. If that would not have happened for us, we would not have been able to kind of really create this path. And once we started moving on this path, I think 18 months down the line, we got our first breakthrough, major breakthrough. And that truly, I can say, was a turning point where we got into a joint venture with Baker Tilly US. And the joint venture was to establish and help them in setting up their complementary workforce in India. I think it's something which is one of the biggest breakthroughs what we have got. It's the biggest turning point for us, because from there on we were able to kind of really get a very, very strong team build up. We were able to kind of get the pace into the entire ecosystem and figure it out how we need to kind of really expand our footprints, not only in couple of service lines, but expanding our wings across different service lines. So I think getting into a joint venture with Baker Tilly was definitely one of our big breakthroughs. And that too, when you are 18 months old into the business, it is a big thing. And all credit goes to the Baker Tilly leadership for believing into us and kind of putting their bets on us and saying that, yes, we think that they think that we can do it. And I guess we have been able to kind of build a really strong team, which we are proud of, and which is doing a phenomenal job on all our clients.
Thanks, Abhishek. And what a remarkable achievement, entering into a JV with such a big CPA firm, Baker Tilly, in such a short time frame. Now, Abhishek, before we wrap up, one last question. What advice would you give to any young entrepreneur or young professional who is looking to build a business into such niche spaces like consulting and offshoring?
Well, great. This is one of the questions which keep on coming to me time and again. That what is the right entry point? How one should start? What all one should need to kind of really build this up? I think 3 or 4 different elements. One, I would say that one should definitely build some experience about the markets, in case if your willingness is to kind of set up a offshore practice for yourself. You need to kind of understand the markets in which you want to kind of work in, whether it is Americas, EMEA, Southeast Asia, and others, and get to understand about the culture, the value system, the way the clients works over there, so that you can kind of really understand and deliver the right value to them. The second is your subject matter expertise. In case if you are a tax professional, you should definitely build up something on tax, and slowly and gradually you can expand into different service lines once you kind of start building up your teams. The third and the most important thing, which I'm a big proponent of, is that you have to kind of drive the business on certain principles. Those principles can be different for different set of people. In our case, we drive the business on a principle of sustainable growth. What do we mean by sustainable growth? Sustainable growth means that you have to grow at a pace which will not lead you to kind of compromise on anything, whether it is quality, whether it is talent, and so on. And you need to kind of keep on innovating yourself by bringing in new age tools, new technology, and making sure that you're always and always thinking from a client's perspective in terms of how you're adding value and how you're delivering the quality which is being required. The last but not the least is one has to be honest to the clients, one has to be honest to the people in terms of what and how they're doing it. I remember a real life example again over here, and there was a situation somewhere in July or August of 21 where we got a kind of a request from one of our clients that they need some kind of a resource set up in the tech implementation work, and this is something which was absolutely outside of our core baseline knowledge. And it was a fairly sized deal for a venture like us, who had nothing in their P&L for the first 3 months other than the expenses. But uh, and I was kind of really got carried away with that deal, and I said that let's kind of try and figure it out. Let's kind of figure out options on the market in terms of how we can kind of make it happen. But again, my colleague came to me and said that, Abhishek, you know what, if this is not something which we have got even a baseline understanding and we don't have a kind of a knowledge about this, let's be honest to kind of the client and go back and tell them that, you know what, this is something which we don't have at this point of time, but if we want, we can build this up over a period of time. And I think it was very difficult for me. I can share it was almost $100,000 deal at that point of time, and you can imagine it was not a small amount to kind of leave it on the table. And we have gone back to the client. We said that this is something which we cannot do, but if you guys think we can definitely help to set it up for you. And I think this is something which our client liked the most, and today that client is a fairly large client for us, and we have been definitely kind of doing very, very good on that client. But I think that small piece of advice was so helpful for me at that point of time, and leaving that big money on the table helped us to kind of win that confidence and the trust into the client, and really showcase ourselves as a value advisors who brings an expertise on the table. So yeah, I think that these are the elements which one should kind of think through in terms of your own experience about the market, how you're going to build that experience, build that expertise about the subject matter, what you're doing. Be honest to your clients, be honest to your people, and define the principles of doing business. That's something which is helping us out, and I'm sure that that's something which is going to help you out as well to be a successful entrepreneur.
The key takeaway from here is stay true to yourself, know your strengths, and persevere on the path that you have chosen. Thanks, Abhishek, for walking us through your incredible journey from starting out as a CA and into auditing, having this successful career at Big Four, and leaving it all to start Pierag Consulting. To our listeners, stay tuned for our next episode with Abhishek, where we will explore his expertise into GCCs, how he built Pierag, and his vision for Pierag Consulting. This is Pierag Cast, where strategy meets scale and local roots fuel global vision.
Thank you, Priya, for having me over here and making me to kind of share my journey of last 24, 25 years. It was great interacting with you. Thank you.